Welcome to LEEDS College, Peshawar. My name is Inayat Afridi and I'm a lecturer of English and Comparative Literature at LEEDS College English Department. Today I would be discussing about three cases of the direct and indirect speech. In these cases, first of all, how to change must in reported speech and indirect narrations. The second will be how to change the conditional sentence type 2, and the last is the might be. I discuss case number 1, which is must. Must, remember, this is the modal auxiliary verb, but point is, could we change must into indirect narration? There are two cases. Must simply doesn't change, but when it is used for obligation purpose, then it changes into had to. I have listed an example. The direct speech as the Shima said, I must get my medical diploma. Now the reported speech in this case contains modal auxiliary verb must. Remember, when must is used for obligation purpose, it changes into had to, mean back shift of must used in obligation purpose is the had to. So it's possible indirect speech will be Shima said that she had to get her medical diploma. The point is, change must into had to when it is used in obligation context. The second case is conditional sentence type 2. Keep in mind that conditional sentence type 2 doesn't change. I mean the back shift in the reported speech will remain same. We have a case, the direct speech. Ahmad said, if my children were older, I would emigrate. If you check the reported speech, it has the conditional sentence type 2. I mean we have the two clauses, F clause in the result clause. This is if my children were older is the conditional clause, and I would emigrate is the result clause. Keep in mind that the if clause when contains the past simple and the result clause contains the modal word will be called conditional sentence type 2. But point is that conditional sentence type 2 remains same, and it doesn't change in indirect narration. So it's indirect speeches. Ahmed said that if his children were older, he would emigrate. Although we can change the pronouns, like the in F clause we have the first person possessive my changes according to the subject, has children, and we have the subjective pronouns I changes according to the subject. This one becomes he would emigrate. Point is, conditional sentence type 2 doesn't change in indirect narration. Coming down to discuss the last case is the might be. Remember, like should, might be doesn't change in reported speech and indirect narration. Let's discuss the case. We have the direct speech. He said, I might be at LEEDS College, Peshawar. If you look at the reported speech closely, it contains might be as the modal auxiliary verb. But remember that it doesn't change, I mean the back shift is 0. In direct speech, he said that he might be at LEEDS College, Peshawar. Tense doesn't change, mean the back shift is 0. So we have 3 points. Point number 1, that must normally doesn't change, but when it is used for obligation purpose, means in obligation context, changes into had to. Point number 2 is when we have conditional sentence type 2 in reported speech will not change in indirect narration, mean the tense will remain same. In the point number 3 is if we have the might be being the modal auxiliary verb doesn't change in indirect speech. Keep in touch with English. Have a nice time. Thank you very much for your time.